A Nike employee or a former Nike employee who is making the rounds with a video that is now circulating the internet talking about the situation involving Nike, Caitlin Clark, the slow play that they're doing, even doing so much to show how their stock is falling off the shelf. And let's talk about this video. You may have seen it by now. I'm going to show it to you again, but it's a former 15-year employee at Nike in the women's division. And
after Adidas made a move so daring that it caused LeBron to double-check his contract, Caitlin Clark just flipped the script, nuked the sneaker world, and may have just made Nike sweat through its swoosh. Instead of just clapping back, Caitlin dropped a bombshell, sending fans into a tailspin, leaving Twitter ablaze, and sneakerheads questioning their life decisions. What did she say? Why is Nike in a panic? And did Adidas just win the century? Hold on tight, because this is crazy.
Such a big game for Caitlin, her returning to her alumni in Iowa and her hitting that massive logo 3, the logo 3 during the game, that some of her sponsors would want to show her support on social media, do any sort of marketing to uplift her and uplift their brand. And one who did do that was Gatorade. They tweeted a photo of her and they said, "Real home court advantage. Welcome back to Iowa, Caitlin Clark." Now, one of her lead sponsors that was noticeably quiet yesterday was Nike. And a lot of people were tweeting about this. They were wondering, why isn't Nike and Nike basketball, why are none of their accounts saying anything about this? Yes, it's a preseason game, but this is a huge day for Caitlin. She's returning to her alumni.
All right. The swoosh is now appearing less like a testament to athletic brilliance and more like a sinking checkmark of failed promises after Caitlin Clark reportedly dumped a lawsuit's worth of receipts on Nike without even trying. Yes, you read correctly. Like a poor Tinder date with commitment concerns, Nike, the company that essentially develops sports endorsements, is now ghosting its biggest growing star after breaking their half of the bargain.
Nike, we need to talk about Caitlin Clark. Let's you and me talk about Caitlin Clark since you refuse to talk about Caitlin Clark. I care deeply about you. I spent over a decade in your marketing organization. I spent several years trying to get into your organization. And it's been 3 years since I left your company. I'm just here as a friend. I care about you. I want to show you two different charts here. One, your stock price since 2021. It is down nearly 60%. Your executives and the people who are making these decisions, their stock options are worthless. Meanwhile, you have the single biggest needle mover in all of American sports since Michael Jordan, and you have somehow convinced yourself that you need to slow play this. Let me show you Google Trends search traffic for 4 female basketball players. There is one who only rivals Caitlin Clark, and that is Angel Reese, and you do not have her. She is over.
Let's discuss the brass tacks. When Adidas is out here doing power squats with $100 bills ready to bench press the entire women's sports industry, you don't offer a generational talent a med deal while simultaneously fluffing up every other face in the league like they're the second coming of Jordan. Caitlin Clark is currently the biggest name in women's basketball, and Nike chose to treat her like an afterthought in a clearance bin.
How in the world is Nike not going full on Caitlin Clark phenomenon? You've got the most popular women's athlete in the world. Do they still not have a Caitlin Clark shoe out? My mind is blown by this. The minute that she started playing in the WNBA, you should have rolled out for every little girl in America that Caitlin Clark wants. And that should have been the baddest ass women's tennis shoe that has ever been.
As well as Adidas. Oh, they're not merely observing, they're darting around like a cat in a laser pointer room. The instant Caitlin's camp appeared even remotely disheveled in front of Nike, Adidas walked up looking like, "Hey, we brought you your own line's signature colorways and an unlimited supply of actual respect." In addition to flowers, they sent a whole shoe bouquet with personalized branding and a group of marketing experts prepared to make her more famous than Taylor Swift in a Swiftie-filled gym.
A lot of conversation has been made around Caitlin Clark, her signature shoe, the Nike deal, and with how much Nike has been dragging their behind, how much Nike has been moseying to the finish line when it comes to pushing the Caitlin Clark button, fans started speculating maybe this deal isn't as official as we thought it was. We get no signature shoe, no news of a shoe all season long. We get no merchandise all season long. We get no commercial.
Discard Nike. Here's the real killer. If Clark signed with Adidas, her shoe line wouldn't just sell, it would destroy sales charts. Caitlyn dumps them like a bad haircut before prom. You're not just a player, you're the moment. If Nike can't see that, hand them a mirror and a resignation letter in one perfectly arched jump shot. Since Caitlyn's shoes would sell 10 times as many as Wilson's, kids would be buying them on StockX more quickly than you could say, "Step back 3." They would also be showing up at school in Clark 1s, dressed in holy relics, and grandmas would be camping out at Foot Locker once more, as if the Air Jordans had just been released in 1996. Nike forgot who they were dealing with because Caitlyn is not a novelty act, she is not the flavor of the month, and she is the league's future. Instead of giving her an empire, they sent her a shoe deal with the same vigor as a maybe RSVP to your wedding. This was a huge mistake because, when fans learned about it, hashtags began to fly and threads about NBA players' side aim SportsCenter sources suddenly became very chatty. Let's also take a moment to discuss that Angel Ree promo image. Why is it that one picture? Why is it an odd editorial choice that makes it appear as though she is leaving a photo shoot for a 2010 reality show reunion special?
Caitlin Clark's Nike deal might be the worst endorsement deal in the history of professional sports. You guys remember this billboard that was put up in Iowa? Well, that's one of the last times that Nike has done anything for Caitlin Clark. They promoted her more in college than they have at all the entirety of the WNBA season. She signed an 8-year, $28 million deal with Nike that also included her own signature shoe, which honestly, looking at it now, $28 million for 8 years is an absolute steal for this superstar, when a player like Wemby's Nike deal was rumored to be over $100 million. Caitlyn has not only had an incredible rookie season, but she has also transformed the WNBA.
Look, we're not saying Angel isn't worthy of attention. Rather, we're asking how it came to symbolize your rookie class as a whole, while Sophie, who, let's face it, plays for the same team as Caitlyn, is different from half of the characters in Nike advertisements. At the reunion episode of Basketball Queen's WNBA edition, a baller with stats is oddly missing, and instead of Sophie Cunningham and Caitlin Aaliyah Boston doing something fierce with lighting and attitude, we get one awkwardly cropped pic of Angel Ree standing like she's about to read someone for filth. Sophie is out there draining shots, diving for rebounds, and playing for a team that is literally ground zero for this new women's basketball renaissance, and you forget she exists. It's not just a bad PR move, it's a PR faceplant. It's like handing Beyoncé, Rihanna, and Adele for a halftime show, and picking Jason Derulo makes sense. Meanwhile, Adidas would have made Sophie the new face of their training line, slapped her on a billboard, and allowed her to throw shoes into the crowd after every game like candy at a parade. Since the sneaker war is about to turn ugly, let's go back to when Adidas released the Clark 1 Fire Edition, which sold out in 4.3 minutes. Children weep in the parking lot while older men quarrel over toddler sizes.
Yeah, she feels as though that this Nike deal has been racially motivated. She believes that there's a disparity in how Nike is prioritizing and rewarding athletes like Caitlin Clark. And it's just, she's saying that athletes like Caitlin Clark are getting the better deals compared to other athletes, especially women of color. She additionally expressed her frustration through social media in her podcast, The Reese Life, suggesting that Nike was not treating all WNBA players equal.
Conversely, Nike continues to act as though offering Caitlyn a limited release is special in some way, even though it's incredibly disappointing. They likely believed that including her in a group agreement would appear cooperative, but it appears lazy. Let's throw all the girlies in one bucket and call it a campaign. If Nike had a suggestion box, Clark's fans would be furious right now. If we're being completely honest, this may be the moment Caitlyn realizes that her brand doesn't belong in a boardroom PowerPoint. She's not just a bullet point, she's the entire damn presentation. She sells out arenas, inspires cross-country broadcasts, and makes 40-foot shots look like casual layups. She's established her name, brand, and influence without Nike's assistance, and honestly, despite them, so why not choose Adidas? They are daring, eager, and unafraid to risk all on a woman who has literally revolutionized the game. They would likely give her a whole division and allow her to rename it. Clark Performance's fanbase would follow her like Moses if she asked, let's face it. Caitlyn is nonchalantly rewriting the concept of rookie stardom while acting as though the shoe drama doesn't really exist, which naturally makes it even more of a thing, while Nike is playing catch-up like they're late to gym class.
All season long, and it had people thinking to themselves, maybe this deal that we all thought was finished and signed and completed isn't as finished, signed, and completed as we thought, or maybe they're renegotiating. Maybe Caitlin Clark on her end pulled back the reins, said, whoa, let's revisit this clause that I said if this doesn't get done in this amount of time, we need to revisit that. People were even speculating that. But today was the Nike quarterly call.
The truth is that this goes beyond a sneaker contract. It's about visibility, respect, and recognition. It's about not putting the world's biggest women's basketball star into a one-size-fits-all marketing strategy and hoping she doesn't notice. Spoiler alert again, because she did, and everyone else did. So yes, Nike violated the contract. Not just the legal one, but the moral one, the one that states, you lift us, we lift you. Instead of lifting Caitlyn, however, they gave her a dull pen and a copy of a group deal, which was like an autographed napkin from a brand lunch meeting. She should then watch as her first signature sneaker burns a swoosh-shaped hole through the entire industry, and, just when you thought Nike couldn't mess up anymore, they reveal the ultimate plot twist. We're launching a shoe for A'ja Wilson, which is obviously fantastic for A'ja and that she deserves it.
Nike has been having one horrible week in the media, bro. And what's crazy is that everything started off great. They put out a wonderful Super Bowl commercial. Everybody was for Nike. You want to know what Nike did? Shot themselves in their own foot, man. Everybody's weighing in on this situation. We know they put out the wonderful Caitlin Clark commercial over the last weekend in the Super Bowl. Then the very next day, they messed up, put out another commercial. Didn't even mention Caitlin Clark's name at all. And then just yesterday, they re-edited the damn commercial and did a voiceover over it. Like, my goodness. If I was Nike, I'd just be quiet right now.
However, it brings up the most embarrassing, blazing red flag type query. Where in the world is Caitlin Clark's shoe? Oh, that's probably in a dusty Google Drive folder next to a list of individuals. While Angel Ree is out there getting more camera time with Nike than LeBron's Cavaliers during the NBA Finals, Nike seems intent on making her the face of the league's next chapter, while also ignoring the woman who is literally carrying the rookie class on her back like she has a backpack full of bricks and court vision. In 2023, Nike neglected to call back. Since Nike is busy giving the megaphone to athletes whose most viral highlights involve outfits not related to marketing, while Caitlyn's lighting up arenas, drawing record-breaking viewership, and sending social media into cardiac arrest every time she sinks a 30-feeder. It's beginning to feel less like a marketing strategy and more like a full-blown identity crisis or perhaps a midlife sneaker meltdown. Thank you for watching my video.